Hey Cafe crew, it's Colin Smith here from Photoshop Cafe, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Photoshop Cafe. So anyway, this week I've got something really cool for you. Got a special episode. I'm going to talk about stock and how you can make money selling your photography and how you can sell your video. I'm going to show you the strategies, I'm going to talk about what works and what doesn't work, and then I'm going to show you the practical steps on how to upload photos to Adobe Stock. So let's get started. First of all, what is stock photography? So back in my early days when I got started, I was doing a lot of design work. And back in those days, if I wanted to find images, I either had to hire a photographer, go out, shoot them myself, do rights managed photos, which could be very expensive, hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars for a photo that you can use once for one campaign. And then also there was CDs that you could buy for like 300, 400 bucks that would have like 100 images on it. You could get CDs and DVDs cheaper, but generally the quality of those were a lot lower. So finding good stock photography was very difficult back then. So if you had big budget campaigns and stuff like that, it was very easy to do. If you were working for a non-profit or a smaller company, startup, trying to do something for yourself with a limited budget, it was very difficult. And at that time, digital cameras were just starting to come out. Everyone didn't have one of these that you could just go out and snap a picture. Now you can go out and snap a picture on here. It's not going to be as good a quality as you're going to get from a professional photo from a real camera. And I apologize to people that consider this a real camera. I'm sure it is, but not for big design work when you're doing print and stuff like that. So basically, microstock came along, and microstock enabled people to download and buy and license images and use them for whatever you want, regardless of the size of the run and the length of time and all those things that go into rights managed. So it's a really good thing for designers, and it's a really good thing for people that use photography, because now you can go online, you can find the photos you want quickly and easily, and you can go out and use them very cheaply. Now, there are going to be times when you're going to hire a professional photographer for, particular product shoots or different things like that. We're not talking about that right now. So what we're talking about here is microstock. Now, you probably have a ton of images on your hard drive that you've been shooting over the years. Maybe you've recently started shooting, or you've been shooting a long time. Now, I'm not sure what you're doing with your photos. It seems fewer and fewer people are printing those photos these days. So maybe you're printing some, maybe you're selling some, or maybe you're just enjoying taking them and they're just taking up space on those hard drives doing nothing. Essentially, digital cyber squatters on your drives. Okay, I'm being a little harsh, okay? But what if you can make some money from those? And you can. So you can actually take all these images on your hard drives, upload them to Adobe Stock, and start selling them. And as people license them, you actually get a percentage of the licensing fee back in your own pocket. Well, for some people that might be great, a nice way to save up for a new lens, maybe a new camera. Other people make a living out of it, and that's what they do. They're constantly shooting and uploading and making a pretty decent income. Now, I would suggest, just start small with the pictures you've got, upload those, see how it goes. If it's an experience you enjoy and you start to make a little extra revenue from it, then why not, by all means, go out, shoot, set up models, do the whole thing, create shoots and sell those photos and do it for a living if you want. Sure, why not? But this message really is just for everybody. Maybe you've got some videos, maybe you've got some photos, and you want to upload them. Okay, let's talk about this for a little second here. There's a couple of things we need to look at. Number one, what kind of photos are they looking for? What kind of photos can sell? Okay, let's be honest. There's some areas that are just going to be saturated, such as sunsets. I can bet they're probably not looking for another sunset image. They probably have lots and lots of them. So you've got to be a little bit creative and think about that. Now, the big thing you're looking for is business. A lot of business kind of shots are very popular. And also another one that's huge is lifestyle. So if you've got friends, you're out at the beach, whatever, you're going on vacation, plan a little extra time, snap some pictures, maybe make a little revenue. If you want to get serious about it, what you want to do is do a little research. Go onto Adobe Stock and some of the other microstock sites and see what the best-selling images are. See what the most popular images are and get a feel for the kind of genre and the kind of photographs that really sell. Now, once you've got that under your belt, one thing I do want to recommend is go in an area that's passionate for you. If you're passionate about sports and you love sports and maybe skateboarding and surfing and stuff like that, by all means, do surfing, skateboarding, do images that inspire you. Don't choose a genre that you have absolutely no interest in, because it's going to show in the photos. It's not going to be a story, it's not going to be a passion, and they're not going to be interesting. So find the things that you love to do, photograph those, and use those as a starting place. Two little caveats you need to be aware of is model releases and property releases. If you're shooting a photograph with people in it, make sure you get a model release. Now, it's not that hard. You can go online, you can print out a model release and use that. You can even get an app on your phone that you can have model release and have people sign that on the spot. I've done that before, where I've just been on locations, found some people there, they were great in a photo. Hey, would you like to be in this picture? Get them sign a model release first and then do the pictures. So that's a really easy way to do it. Now, property releases are for properties that are very recognizable. It's not, if you're down in the middle of the city, you don't have to go into every single store and get a property release for every single building. However, if you do take a picture such as the Getty or something like that, which is a very well-known building from a famous architect or something like that, you probably need to get a property release if you want to sell that image. Some other things to bear in mind when you're shooting the pictures. You want to think compositionally, not necessarily like you would for your typical photographs, where you're trying to fill the frame with your subject, which is obviously a really good rule in photography, but sometimes you don't want to do that. You want to leave a little space for type. You want to leave a little space for headlines, remembering that people are going to use these for different things. Now, obviously, some of those you're going to have where you are going to fill the frame and it's just going to be a photo that's just going to be used, inserted in something, but other times people are going to use it for a full page, maybe an invitation, an ad, a brochure, whatever, and then to kind of have your subject coming into the frame with some nice space around there that can be used. And I know from my graphic design experience that I looked for things that had low contrast. They were easy to apply text over those areas. When I say high contrast, you get a lot of lights, you get a lot of darks, you get a lot of detail. It's really hard to drop another element in there and make it pop. Whereas smoother colors and smoother gradients just give themselves to these kind of things. So that means that designers, small businesses, startups are going to pick your image because it's going to be the one that's going to work best for them. And guess what? You're going to make money from that. So there's two benefits here. One is, you can make a little bit of extra income, and that's never a bad thing. The second thing is you've got these photos that are just sitting there. Why did you take photos in the first place? Why do you get into art in the first place? Because you want to share it. So if you put them on Adobe Stock, not only do you have a big community of people looking at it, but you never know where it might appear. It might end up on a billboard or in a magazine, something like that, and give you a few extra little bragging rights. All right, so let's talk about what does it take to successfully get your image found on there, because the most important thing, once you've got a good image, is to have it found. And the way to do that is you want keywords. So you want to have between 20 and 25 keywords. That seems to be the sweet spot. When you upload these to Adobe Stock, it's going to enable people to find them. Now, when you're using these keywords, and of course the description, which is very important, you need to think about some things. Number one, what do these describe? Make sure it really describes clearly what is in that photograph or that video. And make sure it's not spammy. Because if it's spammy, or there's things in there that are not related to that photo, guess what? That photo is going to get rejected when you upload it. So you don't want that to happen. So make sure it's relevant. But not just literally descriptive, such as cup, mug. You want to also have some conceptual keywords in there, such as laying in the sun, feeling good, happy and cozy, or, quenching my thirst. Think about conceptual. And then the other thing you can do too is when you have something that maybe you've got some keywords and you're struggling for better keywords, don't forget, check out the thesaurus. The thesaurus is not an extinct type of dinosaur. It's actually sort of like a dictionary, but it gives you similes of words. So you can actually look up the words in the thesaurus and you can find other words that are very close to it or have the same or similar meanings. And by looking in there, and you can actually go online, thesaurus.com, or just look up lots of different places. You can use these to help you find related keywords. And on top of that, if you actually upload an image to Adobe Stock, they have a keyword generator in there as well. So it actually looks at the photo, uses machine learning, actually knows what the photo is of, and then creates a list of keywords that you can go through there and you can use those or not use them. So all right, The next step is I'm going to show you how to upload these images and how to submit them to Adobe Stock. I'm going to show you how to do keywording, and I'm going to show you how to do the automatic keywording. All right, let's walk through the actual process of submitting your photos or videos to Adobe Stock. So the place you can start is contributor.stock.adobe.com. This is a contributor portal. It's a great place to start. And you can see here, this is where you can create an account and you can log in. Plus there's different information stuff here. And it also gives you some of this stuff such as the requirements. You want to be 18 years old, you be the owner of the photo, and have releases for property or photos. And it gives you the amount here. So your commission's 33% on photos, 35% on videos. And of course you can go in and see more things and create your account right here. However, what I'm going to do is we're going to jump into Adobe Lightroom now. All right, so let's have a look at doing it from Lightroom, because this is actually the easiest way, and most of your photos are probably already living in Lightroom anyway. So this way we can look at taking out photos we already have, submitting them to Stock. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you're in the Library panel, then scroll all the way down to the Publishing Services. And then under the Publish Services here, we're going to set up Adobe Stock. So click on Setup. And right here, what we're going to do, you can see some little things here. You can go and read those things, which I would recommend for the first time. Then just click Save. And once we've set up our publishing service, then we can go into Lightroom and look at different photographs that we want to submit. So we can actually submit a bunch at the same time. So let's have a look here. We've got a couple here with the girl with the slate here. And this is Crystal. And notice we've got keywords here. If I upload this into Adobe Stock, these keywords will be used. But what I want to do is remove all those keywords. And I'm actually going to let Adobe Stock do the auto keywording for me. So I've actually got a couple of shots there from that shoot. And usually it's a good idea to do 3 to 5 shots from each, because a few will probably get rejected. And that way it also gives the people more options to choose a different picture. So let's go down here. We're just going to drag it here into Adobe Stock. We're just going to click in there. Now just double click inside the window and you'll see these are the ones we've submitted and these are the ones we haven't submitted yet. So let's just hit publish and those two are going to get pushed up into Adobe Stock. All right, now we just want to click on yes and we can go into Adobe Stock. And here we are inside my publishing portal. And look at this. Here's the images that we submitted. And you can see 23 keywords have been suggested for this particular one here. And what have we got here? Let's see all the keywords. So we've got woman, business, isolated. Could use that, but let's get rid of that. Businesswoman, beauty, young, student, smiling. We've got all this information. Let's just go down here. Probably get rid of people because it's just a person. Holding, I guess. We'll get rid of that. And maybe do slate. And filmmaking. And maybe we could do another one, movies. And so maybe in this case we might want to move that slate to the top. And we can scroll to the top there and we can see we've got that. We maybe kick woman up and then we've got woman and slate. And you can see essentially that's what we've done. Now, before we get to submit this, we want to make sure we're in the photo, people, we're in the right category. And we're just going to say, young woman holding slate for filmmaking. Because you want to think about, okay, what are people going to search for? And so when you put this description, you want a description that it contains a lot of your keywords, but you also want a very plain English that's going to be similar to what people would be searching when they're thinking of it. So you want to really be thinking about, if I was looking for this image, what words would I use? All right, so we've got that done, and then there's a couple other things. Just here, do we have recognizable property? We click yes because we do. It's a person that needs a model release. So in this case, we have two options. We can search for an existing release. That means if I already have a model release uploaded for this model, this particular shoot, whatever, that's going to be there on file already. If I haven't, I create a new release. You'll click on here, and then I'm actually going to upload that model release, and then we'll be good to go, and we can use that for all the other photos in that particular shoot. And then we could just click on it to submit that file. So essentially, that's how we do it. And once we've uploaded, then we can actually just go into review here, and we can see these are the ones that we've uploaded, and these are in moderation, and within a few days we're going to know either these are accepted and then they're going to be for sale and you can start earning on them, or they're going to be rejected, in which case just upload more photos. So as you can see, you can use Adobe Stock very easily with Lightroom. It's a great way of creating some extra revenue from those photos that you have just sitting there in your hard drive doing nothing. There's a possibility you could start earning some revenue from those. And not just that, but also, you know, who knows, maybe you could see them in a magazine ad or on a billboard or something like that, and that would feel pretty cool. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget, become part of the Cafe crew. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and also add a comment. Let's get a discussion going. And until next week, I'll see you at the cafe.